सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। ॐ ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम्। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। Hari Om. Let's take a sankalp. Okay, so everyone's videos are off again, but it's okay. I'm used to that now. Yeah. Okay, so before we start summarizing the whole class, before we start consolidating the whole class, we look at the means of gaining आत्मज्ञानम. हमने लास्ट क्लास पूरा देखा कि आत्मज्ञानम के बेनिफिट्स क्या है. Okay, जीवन मुक्ति, विदेह मुक्ति, everything we have seen about self knowledge. We'll quickly go through what are the means of gaining self knowledge. Okay, so now after more than 50 classes, we kind of have an overview of what Vedanta wants to teach us, right? We know what is moksha, right? By now, we know what is moksha, what Vedanta means by moksha. We know what is self-knowledge. We also know the benefits of gaining self-knowledge. So finally, we need to discuss how do we attain self-knowledge. Because without clearly knowing the path, we may not be able to reach the goal. In spite of knowing what the goal is. We know what the goal is. But without knowing the path clearly, हम शायद वो गोल तक ना पहुंच पाए. Okay, so now the good news is that the means of gaining Atmajnanam is not a new topic, okay, but it is something that we have already seen before. We have already studied it before studying the topic of Atman or Brahman, okay. So we have dealt with it before knowing this Jiva Ishvara Aikyam. All right, so we've already seen the topic. But now that we have learned about the Atma, about Brahman, now that we know what self-knowledge is, now this topic will become much more relevant. Okay, so it becomes important to repeat this topic at the final stage. And as we have seen earlier, Shastra says that the only means to moksha is gaining self-knowledge. And the means to gaining self-knowledge is only and only through Jnana Yoga. And what is Jnana Yoga? Do you remember what is Jnana Yoga? Jnana Yoga means Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam of the Shastra. Do you remember what those words means? Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam. So Shravanam means listening, Mananam means reflection, and Nididhyasanam means contemplation. So listening, reflection, and contemplation of the Shastra topics. We'll look into all these three again. in a little detail. So we said Shravanam. Okay, Shravanam means listening, but it's not just listening. Okay, it is a systematic and consistent or continuous listening to the scriptures for a length of time from a competent guru or a teacher. Okay, so listening with all these conditions. First condition is it should be systematic listening. Systematic means not randomly listening to stray lectures here and there. So whenever we chance upon them, chalo aaj sun liya, फिर एक महीने बाद सुना, या randomly कुछ जो topic, it's not in a flow. Randomly means आज एक topic पे सुना, कल दूसरे किसी topic पे सुना, परसों दूसरे किसी topic पे सुना. So it's not randomly listening to stray lectures, but slowly building your knowledge stepwise through a structured and orderly curriculum. Okay, slowly building on your study from foundation through a course of study. That is systematic listening. So this is the first condition. The second condition is consistent or continuous listening. Means you have to get into this discipline of regular Shravanam every single day, not Saturday to Saturday. Okay, not that now that introduction course is over, now I don't need any more Shravanam. Now after a few months or a few years, maybe I'll think of something else. No, you have to dedicate at least 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever is convenient. Start. Okay, start with whatever is convenient, 10, 15 minutes every single day to listen to the Shastra. You could re-listen to these classes again, or you could take up another course teaching another Vedanta text, whatever suits you. But let the study be consistent without breaks. You can dedicate whatever little time is available, but let it be consistent. So that is the second condition. The third condition is we have to listen for a length of time. See, if we are an exceptional case like Raman Maharshi or somebody, so if you have immense preparedness from Purva Janmas, then you might assimilate the knowledge without giving much time to the study. But for most of us, it takes a length of time. Okay, it takes systematic and consistent study for a long time. Means you have to continue with your Shravanam for at least a few years. It could be 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, depending on our preparedness. Okay, we need to repeatedly go on listening to the scriptures. So basically, we have to be consistently in touch with the Shastras for a long, long time. नहीं तो क्या हो जाएगा, जैसे स्मशान वैराग्य जैसा हो जाएगा. स्मशान वैराग्य टर्म सुना है? It's like कोई गुजर जाता है और हम स्मशान में होते हैं, तब हमें सब चीजों से वैराग्य हो जाता है. We get dispassionate about everything, every material thing in this world, looking at how temporary everything is. अरे कल तो ये हमारे साथ थे, आज ये चले गए. I mean, everything is so ephemeral. I mean, so much wealth, so much knowledge, so much academic pursuits, everything, it's just gone with the person. So when you encounter these kind of things, then what happens that we get dispassionate about things. But this transformation, what happens in this smashan, that is not a real transformation most of the time. It is just superficial. The moment you come out of the smashan in the real world, you again get back to the rat race of being and becoming. That vairagya that happened in the smashan, that will disappear. So if we are in touch with the Shastra for a length of time, तो ऐसा नहीं होगा. जो transformation आएगा, that will be for real, and it will not be superficial. It will not be temporary. it will be a lasting transformation. So this long time is important to be in touch with the Shastra. And finally, as we know, they say that it should be from a competent guru. Ideally, from a Shrotriya Brahmanishta guru. If not then at least from an acharya or a teacher who is completely clear about what he or she is teaching and also is practicing it. Right? So Shravanam means systematic, consistent, listening to the Shastras for a length of time from a competent guru. So this is first part of your sadhana, Shravanam. Then the second stage is Mananam. Mananam, we said, it means reflecting upon what I have heard from the Guru. So I make notes, I refer to my notes, and I try to look at all the topics that we have learned, and then I try to connect all the topics. So whatever I have learned from Shravanam, I try to reflect upon that. And I not only try to reflect upon individual topics, I connect the topics. So first, I understand the complete overview. कि अच्छा ये मतलब पहले कर्म योग करना है, फिर ज्ञान योग में जाना है, फिर ये करना है, फिर ये करना है. I have a complete overview. Okay. And then I deeply think about each and every topic, every idea, every concept. So everything that I have learned so far, it should fall in place. So when I look back at the study like that, when I revise, when I make notes and inquire and think about it, then a lot of doubts will come. When I take a topic individually, doubts might not come. But when I connect one topic to another, there may be seeming contradictions also. So a lot of doubts might come. And it is important to keep thinking and reflecting upon these doubts. And Shastra says that most of these questions, a lot of these questions, they will get answered by independent reflection on it. When we will go on reflecting on it, when we will go on thinking about it, अपने doubts खुद ही हम ही solve कर पाएंगे based on our study. If not, okay, some doubts will get resolved by discussing with sahapathis, with co-students, with friends. Therefore, satsanga or having good friends is very, very important. So most of the doubts will get resolved by yourself. If not, then by sahapathis through satsanga. And if still doubt remain, then we can go to the teacher and get the doubts resolved. Any number of time, okay? Until all the doubts are cleared and the topic is absolutely clear in the student's mind. So Vedanta encourages any number of questions. Vedanta, as we said in the beginning, it is not blind faith. It is not a belief. It is knowledge. So in a system of faith, what happens? Questions are discouraged. It is considered to be disrespect to the teacher or disrespect to the teaching. But Vedanta is not a blind faith or blind belief. It is faith pending inquiry. It is a body of knowledge. Okay, so any number of questions are allowed. And until all the questions have subsided by resolution, you have to go on asking. Okay. And how do I know that all my questions have subsided or not? How do I know that my knowledge is now full of conviction? It is crystal clear. So I know that my knowledge is crystal clear when I am able to say that Aham Brahmasmi. I am immortal. I am all-pervading. I survive the death of this body, mind, sense complex. The world, this Jagat, it cannot affect me. I am Purna. Aham Purna Asmi. each one of these statements, each one of them, I must be able to make it from the innermost core of my heart with full conviction. When I ask my own intellect that, are you convinced? Like, aham brahmasmi, are you convinced about this? The intellect must say, I am convinced, 100%, doubtlessly. So this mananam process is the process of conviction, gaining conviction, getting completely convinced about whatever we have studied in the Shravanam process. So it is solving the intellectual problems. जो intellectual doubts आते हैं, वो सब solve करके completely convince हो जाना है. So Mananam is this intellectual process. Again and again, एक debate होना ही चाहिए. When you are studying, there should be a debate happening in your mind. And once you resolve the debate, once you are completely clear, then that is the purpose of the Mananam process. Then comes the third stage, which is called Nididhyasanam, or contemplation, or Vedantic meditation. Now this Nididhyasanam, this Vedantic meditation, it is not the process of gaining knowledge. Remember this. Don't think that this meditation will give us Atmajnanam. Meditation can never give us knowledge. Knowledge तो हमें श्रवणम के प्रोसेस में ही मिल गया है, और हमने मननम से उस नॉलेज को क्रिस्टल क्लियर भी कर लिया है. हम इंटेलेक्चुअली टोटली कन्विंस्ड है. No doubts are there. Okay. So through Shravanam and Mananam, we have already received clear intellectual knowledge. And ideally, that knowledge is more than enough to bring about a transformation in us so that we can start enjoying the results of Jivan Mukti. The knowledge which we have gained through Shravanam and Mananam, ideally that is more than enough. We can already start enjoying the results of Jivan Mukti. But in most cases, what happens? Even after long Shravanam, okay, years and years of Shravanam, कितने लोगों को हम जानते हैं जो कितने सालों से वेदांत पढ़ रहे हैं. Okay, long years of Shravanam also, and absolute conviction through Mananam also, the transformation does not come. Why does that happen? That is because we have so many emotional obstacles in the form of Viparita Bhavana. Viparita Bhavana means the habitual practices, the habitual thinking patterns. So these habitual thinking patterns in our subconscious and unconscious minds, they act as obstacles and they have to be removed. Means we have to solve the emotional problems. पर कैसे emotional problems solve करने हैं? Based on the knowledge that we have received through Shravanam, the Shastra Jnanam. Based on the Shastra Jnanam, we have to resolve our emotional problems. We have to gain this emotional strength. Because ultimately क्या है? Even though we say that samsara is a problem of ignorance, but how is this ignorance expressing itself? It is expressing itself in the form of emotional turmoil only, no? The basic problem is ajnanam. Yes, totally agreed. But I am facing this ajnanam problem in what ways? In the form of all the emotional problems, in the form of raga, shoka, moha, Kama, Krodha, Loba, Mada, Matsarya, Bhaya. All these problems, all these emotional problems, we are facing. Correct. They are born out of ignorance. So, unless these emotional problems are solved, I will not enjoy the fruits of knowledge totally. क्या होता है? एक साइड पे, on one side, I keep saying, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. And on the other side, what happens? I keep on worrying. I keep on getting irritated. I keep on getting angry, frustrated, jealous, greedy. I am all the time insecure, anxious. I'm depressed. So what happens? The conversion of this intellectual knowledge into emotional strength is necessary. And this conversion of intellectual knowledge into emotional strength, that is called nididhyasana. So it is the process of assimilating knowledge that we have received through Shravanam and that we have clarified through Mananam. It is making the knowledge a part of you in such a way that it is available spontaneously without any effort. कि book में देख के नहीं करना पड़ रहा कि नहीं मुझे याद करने दो कि हमने क्या पढ़ा था. It should naturally, spontaneously start coming without any effort. So it is the process of transforming yourself with that knowledge and completely enjoying the jnana phalam, completely enjoying the benefits of self-knowledge, which we have spoken about. Otherwise, क्या होता है कि ज्ञान तो मिल गया, बस उसका फल नहीं मिल रहा है. Then what is the point? Nididhyasanam converts information into transformation. It converts knowledge into Jivan Mukti. It converts Jnanam into Jnana Nishtha. That is what we want. We want to be Jnana Nishtha. तो अब ये करना कैसे है? तो Nididhyasanam, it consists of 2 exercises. First exercise is an alert living. All my transactions have to be in keeping with the Vedantic teaching. The more and more Shravanam you do, the more and more natural this process will become. Okay, so all my transactions have to be in keeping with whatever I have studied. If there is any thought or any transaction against the teaching, then I catch it then and there. I catch it at the thought level only. I nip it in the bud only before it gains strength, before it gains momentum. So I change that way, that viparita way of thinking, that viparita way of living, and I do it by alert living. Okay, living with complete awareness. Right? This is the first part. And the second part of Nididhyasanam is meditation. Meditation as we know it. So it is called Nididhyasanam Dhyanam. So in Nididhyasanam Dhyanam, I exclusively spend some time for revising my opinion about myself. It is this self-opinion revision meditation. Before we came into Vedanta, usually our self-opinion is, I think I'm a mortal. I think I'm miserable. I am not good enough. I have to achieve or possess things to be good enough. I am powerless, or at least alpashaktiman. So even if I don't feel that way, family members or neighbors or society, politicians, like everyone around us, they constantly remind us that we are apurna and we need to achieve things in order to be purna. So in this Nididhyasanam, I meditate on revising my self-opinion, on revising the habitual thinking patterns. When the opinion is that I am a mortal, I meditate on Najayate Mriyate Va Kadachin, means it's the body that is coming and going. Who says I am a mortal? I am the consciousness blessing the mortal body, but I, the consciousness, am immortal. Similarly, when I feel I need things and beings and achievements to be happy and complete, I meditate on the fact that I do not need any external things to fulfill me. Aham Purna Asmi. I am this infinite Ananda myself. So basically, I just neutralize every unhealthy, wrong, like misconceptualized self-opinion with correct self-knowledge, which we have gained through Shravanam and Mananam. This is called Madhyanam or self-meditation. So this new knowledge, it should go deep in my subconscious. Okay. Surface level pe nahi rehne dena hai. It should go deep in my subconscious that even in my dream, I should see myself as this wonderful, free, beautiful, healthy being. Okay. This is Vedantic meditation. After gaining knowledge by the study of scriptures, a person contemplates on that knowledge received from the teacher, that I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the senses, but I am the awareness, I am the consciousness which is watching these things, which is aware of all of these things. I am the witness consciousness. I am the Sakshitanya. Right? We should always remember that assimilated knowledge alone will give me benefit. Like assimilated food, that alone will nourish me. Eaten food will not nourish me. Only assimilated food nourishes me. So Shravanam alone will not help. Mananam and Nididhyasanam are extremely important. So Krishna warns in the Gita, and all the Upanishads also, they warn us that any amount of study, any amount of even, even if you remove all your Shadvairis and any amount of those kind of changes, they are not going to help us unless the knowledge that we have received is assimilated through Mananam and Nididhyasana. So Jnana Yoga, it means it is the means of gaining self-knowledge, and don't forget the entire path. कि ज्ञान योगा में enter होने के लिए क्या चाहिए? Qualifications चाहिए ना? Without qualifications, you cannot enter Jnana Yoga. I mean, you can enter Jnana Yoga, but there is no assimilation possible without this adhikaratvam, without the qualifications, the sadhana chatusthayam. We'll look into that again when we go to the summary. Sadhana chatushtayam, vivek, vairagya, samadhi, shatka sampatti, and mumukshutvam. So, along with Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, we should constantly keep checking if we have enough sadhana chatushtayam. If it is not there or if it is deficient, then work more on those preparatory sadhanas, karma yoga, upasana yoga. So the whole process of gaining moksha, it can be divided into 3 parts. Okay? 3 parts. First part is Jnana Yogyata Prapti. मतलब ज्ञान योग में एंटर करने के लिए, ज्ञान प्राप्ति के लिए एक योग्यता जरूरी है. And that yogyata comes through karma yoga and upasana yoga. So karma yoga and upasana yoga are very important for jnana yogyata prapti. But don't get stuck into karma yoga and upasana yoga. A lot of people, they start enjoying social work so much. It is so satisfying. It is so fulfilling that all of their time, everything, all of their energies are just dedicated to karma yoga. Then there are some people who really enjoy upasana. They really enjoy bhakti. So don't get stuck into that also. Understand they are a means to an end. Okay, understand that karma yoga and upasana yoga, they are for chitta shuddhi and chitta ekagrata. They are for yogyata, jnana yogyata prapti. The next stage is Jnana Prapti. The Jnana Prapti stage means Shravanam and Mananam. The Jnana Prapti happens through Shravanam and Mananam, listening and reflecting over it. And finally, the last and the most important stage, Jnana Nishtha Prapti. That happens through Nididhyasana. through this Vedantic meditation. Okay. So this is the topic of means of gaining self-knowledge. That is Jnana Yoga, Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam. Does anyone have any questions regarding this topic? Okay. So if there are no questions regarding this, yes, Hitarji, please ask.
You have mentioned about that it is very true that, even though we have heard, a lot of things, and we are trying to control, our whatever we have learned, but emotionally, like emotionally, socially, we again get entangled with, things what we are not supposed to do.
Yes.
So Mananan, you have mentioned that will definitely help. And I'm trying, it is helping a lot. I have improved myself a lot in terms of many things what we have learned. But it will be gradual process, am I right? We have repeatedly, we have to hear this, and then we have to keep on doing Mananam and Shravanam, and then we will eventually we will gain control over our senses, right?
Correct. And identify some particular emotional problems that you are facing. Identify them, and when you do your Nididhyasanam, then based on your study, try to what do you call, counter that thing, have an argument. Okay, meditation. See, meditation does not mean thoughtlessness. Okay, Vedantic meditation is this dialogue that you have with yourself. Okay, that अच्छा ये विपरीत भावना के वजह से these are the emotional problems that I am going through, but the reality is this. So try and go on telling yourself that, okay, this is the reality. This is the reality. So slowly that viparita bhavna will get diluted and it will become weaker and weaker. And then the true knowledge, it will get assimilated.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Take it. Now let us start with the summary. So what did we start our class with? Do you remember? Our first topic was
Purusharthas?
Yes, we started with Purusharthas. So can you see the screen? Can you see the slide, or you can see like what do you see on the screen?
Yeah, we can see the slide.
Okay. So 1 second. I'm not able to minimize this.
You need any help?
Just okay. Okay, I got it. Right. Okay, now my screen sharing is good. Can we see it now?
We can see the slide.
All right. Okay. So we actually started our study with seeing how human beings are different from other beings. So we had said that ahara nidra bhayamaithunancha samanyam etat pashubhir naranam. means ahara, nidra, bhaya, and maithunam. Food, rest, fear, and urge to procreate. These are the common factors between human beings and animals. Buddhihi tesham adhiko visheshah buddhya vihinaha pashubhihi samana. So buddhi, or some verses also say dharma. So buddhi or dharma is the only factor that distinguishes human beings from animals. So why did we do this in the beginning? That how are we different from animals? Because we need to understand that human beings have buddhi. Because of that buddhi, we are conscious about ourselves. We are conscious beings. We can analyze ourselves. We can inquire about ourselves. Okay. And because of that self-consciousness, we compare ourselves to other beings. We compare ourselves to even ourselves in the past. So, उस comparison की वजह से क्या होता है? We try to plan for a better future. So we have this free will because of which we can plan for a better future. And in order to plan for a better future, we have human goals. These human goals is what we called Purushartha, right? So I'm like quickly briefing up the entire course. If there are any doubts in between, then please just feel free to ask, okay? Okay. So the Purusharthas, the human goals, the goals which are targeted by the human beings. So we had seen that we have 4 goals: Artha, Kama, Dharma, and Moksha. Artha means the most primary thing. Okay. Roti, kapda, makan. The most primary things that a person needs for one's survival. Okay, that is the first level of Artha. Uske baad Artha can go to higher levels also. Because Artha literally means security. It means anything that you need for your basic survival, for you to feel secure. So the first level is roti kapda makan. ठीक है. Then you might need security for your roti, for your kapda, for your makan. So we keep on accumulating things which make those things secure. It could be insurance, it could be the domestic help to help us, take care of the house, or all the other things that we keep on adding for our own security, for the security of the first level of security. And then we also spoke about this third level of security, jisme we are worried about our future also. So we have family, we have children, that they will be able to take care of us when we are not being able to take care of ourselves. So security at any level, that is Artha. Right? You should also remember it as basic roti, kapda, makan. ठीक है? तो एक बार रोटी, कपड़ा, मकान आ गया, एक बार we feel secured, our physical survival is taken care of, then comes Kama. Kama means pleasure, fulfilling your desire of any kind. That is called Kama. Going on vacations, buying luxury things to enjoy. Any kind of pleasure is Kama. So going out in restaurants, going for movies, all those things, they come under Kama. जो तुम्हारे basic physical survival के लिए नहीं, पर उसके अलावा, उसके ऊपर जो भी हम attain करते हैं, जो भी हमें achieve करना है, वो सारा काम में आता है. ठीक है? That is Artha and Kama. Then we saw Dharma. Now, when we say the four Purusharthas, we always say Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. We never say Artha, Kama, Dharma, Moksha. Why? Because Dharma has to be the base of Artha and Kama. Okay, for attaining any Artha, for attaining any Kama, Dharma is most important. Right? And we know what is Dharma, right? Atmani pratikulani paresham na samachare. Dharma means for attaining any Artha Kama, follow what is according to what you would want others to do to you. Now, in that process, what happens? You attain a lot of punyam, which we call adrishta phalam. Okay, that punyam, that good luck, that invisible factor which pushes all the favorable conditions in our life, that attainment, okay, that happens through by doing dharmic activities. And attaining those fruits is what we call dharma purushartha. Attaining that good luck, attaining that punyam. So most of the people, jinke paas artha bhi hai, jinke paas kama bhi hai, they are still after attaining something, and that is attaining punyam. So they do all the paropkara karma also with this thing in mind that I want to attain punya. So it is a sakama karma. One wants to attain that punyam. Right? That is what we call dharma purushartha, to attain the punyam. Purusharthas are something that we want to attain. And finally comes moksha purushartha, means attaining liberation, attaining eternal peace, eternal security, eternal happiness. Okay. So this is what are the four Purusharthas. उसमें हमने बोला था कि dharma, artha, kama, these three, they together are called preyas Purusharthas. And moksha Purushartha is shreyas Purushartha. Preyas and shreyas. So preyas is something that you like. Okay, something that you like. It's not necessary that it might be good for you, but it is something that you like. And shreyas is something that is good for you. That is called shreya, something that is good for you. Whether you like it, you don't like it, that is a different thing only. It is good for you. It is the absolute good. Okay. So these were the four Purusharthas. Then in the Purusharthas also we studied the Shadvairis. So dependence on prayers always leads to some or the other Shadvairis. Shadvairis, they are the 6 deadly enemies for a human being. We have been repeating it throughout our course, and I hope you guys have memorized the names: Kama, Krodha, Loba, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Kama means really strong binding desires. Okay. They are so strong that they can make you take adharmic means in order to fulfill them. That is Kama. And Krodha. Krishna says in the Gita, how is Krodha produced? Krodha is produced when any of your Kama is obstructed. When any want, it is obstructed by any means. Suppose you want to sleep and there is noise around in the building, there is some loud music being played, your sleep is obstructed. Your desire to sleep is obstructed and you get angry. Any obstruction to any of your small or big desires leads to krodha, anger. Then Loba, greed. Again, Loba, how does it come into being? हम बहुत बार ये कहते हैं, like we argue with ourselves also. What is wrong with Kama? If it is done in a dharmic way, what is wrong with Kama? I can fulfill all my desires using all dharmic means. I need not do anything wrong in order to fulfill my desires. But here is the catch. This Loba is the catch. The more you fulfill your desires, the more your greed increases. The more you fulfill your desires, it gains momentum. You feel more and more greedy about gaining those things. So that is greed. Then moha, delusion, wrong thinking. You don't see things as they are. Okay, you just have a colored vision, colored by your karma, colored by some anger, colored by some greed. Basically, you do not see how things actually are. So you might see adharma as dharma. You might say that, "Arey, usme kya galat hai?" So that is moha, not seeing the correct picture. Then mada. Mada means arrogance. So mada actually means intoxication. So you could even literally take it as intoxication. So yes, any kind of intoxication is a shad vairi. It is a vairi. It is an enemy. But in this context, mada means arrogance or vanity. मतलब एक नशा, एक pride जो आ जाता है because of our achievements, because of fulfillment of karma. You get an arrogance. That is mada. Then matsarya, jealousy, right? So these are the shad vairis: kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. Then yes, so after the prayers purusharthas, okay, we have depended on the prayers purusharthas. We have tried to achieve the prayers purusharthas for a long time. वो करने के बाद भी बहुत सारा like proper roti kapda makan, lot of karma also we have achieved. In spite of that, I don't feel this permanent happiness. Okay, the happiness, the peace that I get, it is only momentary. Abhi achieve kiya, abhi kuch prayers mila, so I am happy momentarily. Now, over a period of time, if I have this analyzing buddhi, okay, I try to analyze that, अरे मैं इतना सब attain कर रहा हूँ, पर still I'm not getting what I really want. I'm just jumping from one achievement to another, but it is just becoming a vicious circle. I want permanent happiness. I want long lasting permanent peace. I want permanent security. वो तो मिल ही नहीं रहा है. So then one moves to the Shreyas Purushartha, the Moksha Purushartha. So one analyzes his entire life and realizes that जो सब अचीव कर रहा हूँ उससे तो नहीं मिल रहा है, तो मतलब मुझे कुछ और चीज चाहिए जो मुझे जानने की जरूरत है, कुछ पाने की जरूरत नहीं है. I need to know. I don't need to get. So that is when the person moves towards Moksha Purushartha, trying to work towards this freedom of dependence on the on the Prayas Purusharthas, after realizing the limitedness of the Prayas Purusharthas. So Shastras say that these Prayas Purushartha, no, they have three kind of limitations. The first is Dukkha Mishritvam. Okay, we haven't spoken about this. So Dukkha Mishritvam means they always come with a potential sorrow. Matlab, any kind of happiness, it comes with a potential sorrow. You can analyze it. We'll not tell right now. You can analyze any kind of happiness. It will come with a potential sorrow. Then second is Atrupti Karanatvam. Means it just ends. It leaves me dissatisfied after it is over also. I keep on wanting more because it doesn't fulfill me completely. right? So it is called atruptikaranatvam. So dukkha mishritvam, atruptikaranatvam, and the last one is bandhakatvam. So any kind of desire you try to fulfill, any kind of things you try to achieve, they are bandhakatvam. Means they have a nature of binding you. They don't free you. They bind you more and more and more. You don't even realize and you get bound. So these are the three limitations of Preyas Purushartha. And after examining these limitations, the person moves towards the Shreyas Purushartha, that is the Moksha Purushartha. Right? So the second topic that we took was the topic of Shastra or the scriptures. And we said, what are Shastras? Firstly, Shastras, they are Shasanat Trayati iti Shastras. So, by commanding or by teaching, they protect humanity. In simple words, they are like an instruction manual for living in this world. Okay? An instruction manual for all human beings to make the best out of this precious human birth that we have got. Okay? That is what the Shastras do. That is the job of the Shastras. And we had said that Shastras are apaurushaya praman. They were given out by Ishvara himself and they were received by the rishis who were, because of their tapas, because of their sadhanas, they were at a level, at a frequency where they could receive these. We had given the example of that radio transmitting station and receiving stations, right? So we had given that analogy, if you remember. So these are apaurushaya pramana. So they are free from human limitations. They are free from human intellect is so limited, right? If we know this, we don't know something else. If we know about today, we don't know about yesterday, we don't know about tomorrow. Human intelligence has a lot of limitations. So the Shastras, being apaurushaya pramana, they are free of these Purusha Buddhi dosha, the human limitations, the limitations of the human intellect. And Shastras, we said that, so there are 6 layers of Shastras. Our entire scriptural literature, it can be divided, it can be presented in these 6 groups. The first is Vedas or Shruti. So there are 4 Vedas, Rig Ved, Yajur Ved, Samaved, and Atharvana Ved. So this is what was given by Ishvara. Okay, they were then divided into 4, and so basically they were classified by Vyasacharya, but these are the Vedas that were received from Ishvara, by the rishis. So these Vedas, then the next layer comes is Sutra Literature. So in these Vedas, what happens? The knowledge that was there, it was just strewn all over. It was not systematically organized. Okay, it was like all over the place. कि एक टॉपिक का मंत्र इधर है, वही टॉपिक का मंत्र किधर और है. So it was getting difficult. So for the benefit of humanity, what did the rishis do? They classified and codified the literature into Sutra Literature. Okay, the entire Shastra was classified and codified based on topics, based on subjects. That is what we call Sutra Literature. Now in Sutra Literature, what happens? All the knowledge, it is from the Vedas only. There is nothing from Purusha Buddhi. But the knowledge is, it is encrypted. It is in capsule form. Okay, it is like एक छोटा सा sentence from the Sutra Literature will take thousands and thousands of pages of explanation. It is so encrypted. उसके बाद आता है स्मृति लिटरेचर. Smriti is again the same thing, classification and codification only. Smriti means memory. तो ये ऋषियों ने देखा नहीं है. Okay, Shruti means heard. What is heard by the rishis? But Smriti means it is not heard. It is out of the memory of what was heard. It is out of the memory of the Vedas. So why the Smriti literature came into being? So that to make it more elaborated, so that it is available for simpler people also. It does not, you don't need to be intellectually really advanced. So for Sutra literature, you really need those qualifications. Smriti literature is more elaborated. It can be more relatable. And then the next layer, which is Purana. Purana is even more simplified. Usme in the form of stories, in the form of concepts, values being personified as Rakshasas or as lot of things like that. Okay, so personifying values, personifying concepts, that happened in Puranas in the form of stories to make it more relatable. Then Itihasa. Itihasa means, so Itihasa literally means something that has actually happened. But we have to understand that this Itihasa is not like a documentary of what has like actually happened. So based on what has actually happened, they are trying to give out the knowledge of the Vedas. So there are modifications. There might be certain characters, there might be certain events which are presented, which might not have happened. But in order to emphasize on the value, on the concept, those events or those kind of characters were introduced. But the whole Itihasa, it is based on real events, okay, with some additions. And finally, the Bhashyam literature. Bhashyam literature, in fact, it is the Bhashyam literature because of what we are able to even understand what the Vedas say. So Bhashyam means the commentaries and the sub-commentaries and the sub-commentaries on the main commentaries on the Upanishads, on the Shruti and the Smriti literature. That is called Bhashyam. Right? So these are the 6 layers of the Shastra which we had seen. And the Prasthanatrayi, okay, Prasthanatrayi means, so they say that any study of Vedanta is not complete unless and until you have studied the Prasthanatrayi. Prasthanatrayi means firstly the Shruti. तो श्रुति में से क्या चूज किया है? The Upanishads means the end portions of the Shruti, the end portions of the Vedas, plus the Sutra literature. तो Sutra literature में से Brahma Sutra. So the Upanishads, the Brahma Sutra and Smriti literature में से क्या? Bhagavad Gita. So the Upanishads, the Brahma Sutra and the Bhagavad Gita together, the Vedanta study is said to be complete when you have studied these 3. So that is called Prasthanatrayi. All right. Yeah, then we had looked into some schools of philosophy in Hinduism. This was just for information, so I don't want to waste a lot of time on this. I will go further. So just quickly, Astika schools means those which recognize the authority of Vedas, and Nastika schools means those which do not recognize the authority of Vedas. So Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Purva Mimamsa means the Karma Kanda, and Uttar Mimamsa means the Vedanta. They are called Astika schools. And Charvaka, Jaina, and Buddha, they are called the Nastikas of philosophy. These are called darshanas. Okay. Yeah, Prasthanatrayi we've already seen. Yes. Yes, question?
Yeah, sometime Jainism and Buddhism, they consider that we believe in God. So how come they are considered as Nastika?
Nastika. So that is the word Nastika and Astika. They are, in general terms, they are understood as one who believes in God. Astika actually means one who believes in the authority of Veda. That Vedas are there and I believe in what Vedas have to say. I have Shraddha in the Vedas. That is called Astika. And I do not have Shraddha in the Vedas. That is called Nastika. I believe in some force called God. That is not Astika. So that is how it is generally wrongly understood. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yes. तो अभी क्या हुआ हमें we got this instruction manual from God in the form of Shastra कि अच्छा हमें human birth मिला है तो ये instruction manual को follow करना है which is the Shastra. But to follow that we need an infrastructure. हमारे पास manual आ गया पर infrastructure तो चाहिए ना तो that is also provided by the Shastra in the form of the Varnashram Vyavastha. So Varna Vyavastha is infrastructure at the level of the society, how the society is divided, how the infrastructure is maintained at the level of society. And Ashrama Vyavastha, infrastructure at the individual level. So Varna Vyavastha, but very important, very, very important whenever we use this Varna Vyavastha word, or whenever we say that, okay, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, the four Varnas, these divisions are not based on Janma. They are not based on Jati. They are not based on birth. Okay? Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishad, they clearly say that it is only Guna Karma Vibhaga Yoga. Okay? It is based on, the divisions are based only on Guna and Karma. Right? We had seen what are Gunas also. Guna Brahman, Guna Kshatriya, Guna Vaishya, Guna Shudra. Means if Sattva is highest, then you are Guna Brahman. If Rajas is highest, but Sattva is also there in huge proportion, and then there is very little Tamas, then you are a Guna Kshatriya. Okay? Then Guna Vaishya means what? Guna Vaishya means Rajas is very, very high, but after the second highest is Tamas. Okay? You can be selfish. You can do things only for yourself. Although you are very Rajasic, you are very dynamic, very active, but that activity is focused only on yourself at the max, your family. That is called Guna Vaishya. And Guna Shudra means Tamas is at the highest, and then Rajas, very little Rajas, and almost nil Sattva. So based on Guna, the division was made in the society, or based on the karma, based on what activity you are doing. Are you doing a sattvic activity of selflessly teaching? Are you doing a rajasic activity of selflessly working for the society, working without focusing on yourself, working for the benefit of the society? Then you are a karma kshatriya. Are you working for your own benefit? Then you are a karma vaishya. And are you like, you have no intellectual ability or interest, you have no interest to improve yourself, you are just lying there inert, like, and enjoying ignorance, and just not doing anything either for your benefit or for the benefit of the society, selfishly or selflessly. You are a karma shudra. You are just for survival, you are serving the other three varnas. So this has nothing to do with birth. It is based on guna or based on karma. You can be a guna brahman, guna kshatriya, guna vaishya, guna shudra, and our intention, our working should be raising our guna varna, right? If right now, okay, we analyze ourselves and we feel that I'm actually like a guna shudra, then maybe, pehle activity mein aao. Start doing activity selfishly, no problem. Just move from guna shudra to guna vaishya. Okay, just move one step at a time. So once you have started selfishly, like doing sakam karmas, doing a lot of activity, once you have gotten into that dynamism, then move towards more nishkama karmas, selfless activities for the benefit of others. So move from guna vaishya to guna kshatriya, and then slowly withdraw from all these activities and move to guna brahmanas. Move towards knowledge, move towards peace. Yes.
Suppose I'm doing a job, so
Right.
I'm as per guna karma. I'm a shudra, right? Any kind of service to like any other class is considered.
Yes, ideally, we should be working for our own selves, like in that sense, not serving somewhere, ideally. But your attitude is so important. Even if, say, a person is doing a job, but in that job, what is your attitude? What is the bhavna? Is the bhavna of just ke haan chalo, like government job mein bahut sab log jaise karte hain कि चलो ना जॉब मिल गया ना, अब मैं ऐसे ही, I mean, I need not earn, I'm still going to keep getting whatever the benefits. I'm getting my salary, I'm getting my post retirement benefits, everything. That is called karma shudra. Okay, but if you are working, okay, if you are doing a job also, but you are doing it, say, okay, I have to sustain myself, I have to sustain my family, I have to take care of this, I have to take care of that. Yes, I am doing it as a karma vaishya. Now, if you are working, but you are working for a higher good, you don't care about whether you're getting the salary or not. Yes, it's a byproduct. Hai, very good. I am happy that it's coming. Even if it would not be coming, I would still be doing this because it is benefiting the society. It is benefiting the country. Right? So, wo bhavna kya hai? That defines whether you are a karma vaishya, a karma shudra, a karma kshatriya. Right? So a person may be a teacher, but that does not make that person a karma brahman. Okay, a person may be a teacher, but the intention is not to spread knowledge, but the intention is to earn money. So then the person becomes a karma vaishya only. ठीक है?
So it is based on the purely on guna, like the consist with what
the bhavna, the first thing is guna only. The first criteria is guna only. And even if you are involved in a job, involved in a business, involved in any of those activities, the bhavna is most important.
I have a question. So,
yes,
in the example you just talked about, Shudra, then Vaishya, then Kshatriya. So, how does someone, for example, a teaching job or a government job, reach the brahmacharya ashram, something like that? Example.
Okay, the brahmana, guna brahmana you are talking about, or karma
Right.
brahmana you are talking about.
Right.
So that is when you just completely give up the notion of I am the doer or I am the experiencer.
Okay.
That comes out of knowledge. So when,
Yeah.
when you reach that stage that I am not doing karma as a karma, it is a karma abhasa because I am placed in this particular situation. I am placed in this thing. I am just doing this as
Right.
a karma abhasa.
Okay. So, we frequently say that so people thank you, right, for certain things you do for them. And then you really feel that and you tell them that I could do it, so I did it. It's not like anybody else might have done it as well, but I could do it. That's why I did it.
Correct.
So is that the notion you're associating in the job too? Is that what we are saying?
Yes. See, again, the main thing about Brahmana, since we have finished our course, I can tell you that, see, it is about non-identification with whatever this body, mind, sense complex is doing.
Okay.
That non-identification makes you a Guna Brahmana.
Okay. Okay. Fine. That makes sense. Thanks.
Right? So you are not a karta, you are not a bhokta. You are just a witness of what
Right.
happening.
Right.
You don't identify only. You might be doing the best of the things, but you don't identify it. You might be a biggest loser, but you don't identify it.
So खुशी भी extreme नहीं है, दुख भी extreme नहीं है. You're doing it to your best, and
yeah, you're doing it with the best ability without any kind of attachment.
Right. Okay. All right. Thanks.
Right. So that is Varna Vyavastha, infrastructure at the society level. Then comes Ashrama Vyavastha, that is infrastructure at the individual level. This also we had seen in extreme detail, right? Brahmacharya ashram. That is the ashram when you are getting an overview of what the Shastras say, the Karma Kanda, the Jnana Kanda, the entire overview. You are getting to study the Paravidya as well as the Aparavidya, means the worldly materialistic knowledge also, as well as the spiritual knowledge also, the religious knowledge also. So that is Brahmacharya ashram, where you completely dedicate yourselves to study, to becoming from a Prakrit human being to a Sanskrit human, defined person, right? Who becomes an asset to the society. A Prakrit person who is not educated is a threat to the society. You become an asset to the society. Then comes Grihastha ashram. Now, Grihastha ashram is Karma Yoga Pradhana ashram, okay, activity Pradhana ashram, where you are in a stage where you are attaining the prayers, you are attaining the artha, kama, dharma, and you are taking care of the other ashramas of the society also, as well as other varnas of the society also. You are in that kind of a stage. Okay. It's a very dynamic stage. It is Karma Yoga Pradhan stage. Then comes Vanaprastha ashram. Vanaprastha is the transition stage where you are slowly downsizing your activities, when you are slowly downsizing all the external things and you are moving towards seclusion. You are changing your viewpoint from being external to internal. And finally, Sannyasa ashram. Sannyasa ashram means where you completely renounce everything that is worldly. Okay, your possessions, your family, everything is renounced. Now, all these 4 stages, okay, all these 4 ashramas, yes, you could physically go through all of them also. That is also possible. But nonetheless, if your environment, if your setup, if your family does not permit that, okay, if that is not possible, mentally one should make sure that you go through all these 3 ashramas. So Grihastha ashram, Karma Yoga Pradhan, Vanaprastha ashram, Upasana Yoga Pradhan, and Sannyasa ashram should be Jnana Yoga Pradhan. So all these 3 you have to go through mentally. ठीक है, तुम्हें एक्चुअल संन्यास नहीं लेना है, you might as well stay in your house, but you fulfill the sannyasa ashrama in the house. Let it be a jnana yoga pradhan stage, right? And it, yes, like in history we had studied कि अच्छा पहले 25 साल में ये, दूसरे 25 साल में ये, तीसरे 25 साल में ये, ऐसा नहीं होता है. When you think brahmacharya ashram is over, when you think grahastha ashram is over, you are ready for vanaprastha, move to vanaprastha. It may be at the age of 25. It doesn't matter. Okay, don't wait कि अच्छा नहीं नहीं सब लोग क्या बोलेंगे कि ये एज में ये क्या कर रहे हैं. Yeah, Vedanta students, everyone will tell you like that you are too young to do all these things. You know, wait till you get 75. No, don't wait till then. Right now, do it with that urgency. ठीक है. So this was the varnashram system that we had seen. Yeah, guna karma vibhaga only. This is the Gita verse which says Chatur varanyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashah tasya kartaram api mam vidya kartaram abhyayam. So it is based on guna karma vibhaga only. Yeah, and then we had seen the 3 gunas. So what are the characteristics of people who are sattva guna pradhan? So knowledge, goodness, nobility, contentment, trupti. Then purity, calmness, harmony, forgiveness, and spiritual inclination. Okay, that inclination to come is a very big sign that we are gaining more and more sattva guna. Then rajogun. What are the characteristics? Desires. More and more kama. Ye bhi chahiye, ye bhi attain karna hai. And attachment to all the things that you want and you have. Then dynamism. कितने सब लोग होते हैं जो 5 मिनट भी बैठ नहीं सकते हैं. They can't sit without any kind of movement even for 5 minutes. I mean, I know people who have a driver, but ड्राइवर को बाजू में बिठा के गाड़ी खुद चलाते हैं क्योंकि उतने टाइम शांति से बाजू में बैठ नहीं सकते हैं. So dynamism, that action is, that restlessness is there. They need to do something or the other. That is rajas. Okay, a lot of energy, motion. So these all you can identify that. Okay, so these are rajogun pradhan characteristics. And tamogun, inertness, laziness, कंटाला, सब चीज में कंटाला आ रहा है, डलनेस, केयरलेसनेस, मतलब कुछ भी करेंगे विदाउट एनी थॉट, इग्नोरेंस, डिल्यूजन, एंड परपीडनम टेंडेंसीज. They are so indifferent about others that they tend to harm others in that. Yes. Question?
Is that sometimes, many times, you know, I have seen that people are by birth they have this guna. One of the guna is predominant.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. So I have discussed this with one astrologer. He said that in the birth there is a option. There is a guna, like either one is rakshasa or in brahmana. So because of this birth guna, this guna will there throughout the life. So I have seen that in some of my relatives, even though they just like, you know, this rajasic activities, even though, you know, I have told so many things, you know, so but they said no, they just like those kind of activities, you know, the something that you just said, you know, like they just like to, you know, aggressive and restless activities.
Right.
So
Hitarji, first thing I want to warn you that Shastra says कि when you said that you went and told your relatives many times to bring about those changes. Firstly, most important, all of us should keep this in mind. Never go around teaching. Never go around teaching others unless asked. Okay? कोई तुम्हारे पास सामने से आके पूछेगा तभी बोलो. Otherwise, it is unsettling for them. Though, see, you be an example, okay? You be an example, they will see you and those changes will come if they will be around you. Okay, don't even wait for those changes to happen, but it is wrong to, you know, go around and trying to bring about changes in those people. I understand that out of concern, they might be our family, we love them so much, we want to do that for them, but they will see changes in you and those changes will come in you. It will really unsettle them if we go and make, change them. And then what will happen? They will kind of get rebellious about these things, and they will not even if they want to, they will try to not bring about those changes. So that is one first warning. It is said in the Shastra, don't go, even Gita says that, okay? Secondly, ये हाँ जो आप बोल रहे हैं that Rakshas yoni and whatever this yoni and that yoni, it is there, Manushya yoni, yes. So maybe your predominant nature is that, okay, you were born in a Rakshas yoni. Now we have so many examples, like say Prahlad, okay, he was born to Hiranyakashipu, the biggest Rakshas, and he completely was a Sattva Guna Pradhana person, right? So there are so many examples like that. And in whatever kind of environment you are born in, you could still you always have this free will, okay, to move from Tamogun to Rajogun to Sattva Guna, and then finally transcend all the three gunas. Okay, Sattva Guna also is golden shackles only. You have to transcend that also. But first, move from Tamogun to Rajogun, get into activity, then get into Parokara activity, then get into Sattva Guna, then get into transcending all the three. Okay? Does that answer your question, Hitarji? It doesn't
Yes.
matter whether you are born in a Rakshas yoni or Manushya yoni or Dev yoni.
Okay.
The
Thank
free will is always there. Right. So the ashram vyavastha we saw. Good. Yes. Then the most important topic was the topic of understanding Ishvara. So we saw three definitions of Ishvara. सबसे पहले क्या देखा था? जगत कर्ता Ishvara, right? He is the one who is the creator of this universe. तो वो हमारा सबसे पहला understanding रहता है. और हमें we don't know what this Jagat Karta Ishvara would be looking like. So we just assign some particular form, some particular name to that Ishvara, and we say that, okay, my Vishnu or my Shiva or my Devi, that is the Jagat Karta Ishvara. Great. So that way you get this Ekarupa Ishvara Bhakti. Okay, you fall in love with that Jagat Karta, that, oh my God, he is like absolutely Sarvagnya and Sarvashaktiman and Sarvavyapi. All right. So by then you know that he is Sarvashaktiman, Sarvavyapi, Sarvagnya. But then on more analysis, we think that, yes, he is Jagat Karta, he is the creator of the universe, पर वो create करने के लिए material किधर से लाए? Where is the raw material coming from? So if something has to be created, there has to be some raw material to create. And if Ishvara is the Jagat Karta, he must have used some raw material. And that means before Ishvara was there, that raw material was also there. So, ye sab sochne pe, that is when we reach the second stage of our understanding, when the Shastra tells us that the raw material is also non-different from Ishvara. So Ishvara is not only the Nimitta Karana, Ishvara is not only the intelligent cause of the universe, but also the material cause, Upadana Karanam. We had taken the example of the spider, right? The spider, the raw material as well as the intelligence comes from the spider itself. for the web. Same way we have taken the example of the dream also. The raw material as well as the intelligence. It's all from our own selves. So we nimitta upadana karana of the dream. The spider is the nimitta upadana karanam of the web. So now we understand Ishvara as the Jagat Karanam. We have moved from the Jagat Karta stage to the Jagat Karanam stage. Now we see Ishvara as Sarvagnya, Sarvashaktiman, Sarvavyapi, and the Nimitta Upadana Karanam of this universe. But we know that the Karanam cannot be different from the Karyam. The cause and the effect cannot be separate, right? There cannot be separate clay and separate pot. Here is the clay and here is the pot. The cause and the effect are one and the same. So we say that is when we reach the Vishwarupa Ishvara Darshana. That is when we reach that stage. That everything in this universe is nothing but Ishvara himself. So first understanding was Ekarupa Ishvara, the Jagat Karta Ishvara. Then we graduated to the understanding of Jagat Karanam Ishvara, the Nimitta Upadana Karanam Ishvara. And with more understanding, then the other questions start coming, that if God is everything in this universe is Ishvara, then what about the criminals? And what about all the people who are doing all the good things and all? So we feel that, oh, that means Ishvara also should be getting karma phala. Ishvara is the doer, he is doing because everything is Ishvara. When these kind of questions start coming, then we reach the final stage of our understanding that Ishvara is the Jagat Adhishthanam Ishvara, the substratum of the entire Jagat. And now that we have completed the course, we know that what it means, that Ishvara is Satchidananda Brahman along with just the Maya costume. Right? So that is the final understanding of Ishvara that we have reached. So the first was Jagat Karta, where God creates the world, where God has one form, which is our favorite form, whichever form we want to assign. And that is Saguna Ishvara. God has attributes. Okay, so many hands, hair, elephant face, whatever. All kinds of attributes that we want, we can give that Jagat Karta Ishvara. Then the second stage is Jagat Karanam. God becomes the world. Okay, God has many forms or the universal forms. Every form in this universe is nothing but the form of Ishvara. That is called Vishwarupa Ishvara. Again, Vishwarupa Ishvara is also Saguna Ishvara only. This God also has attributes. And then finally, we reach this understanding of Jagat Adhishthanam Ishvara, where God just appears as the world. God is the formless substratum, the Adhishthanam, Arupa Ishvara. And since the Brahman is Arup, it is called Nirguna Brahman. It does not have any attributes. Nirguna Brahman. Right? Very important topic, the understanding of Ishvara. And by now, this must be like very clear. Maybe when we had done it in the beginning, so many questions must have been there which were parked on the side. So by now, I'm sure so the three stages of understanding of Ishvara must be clear to you. Right. Yes. So after the understanding of Ishvara, now we are starting our journey on the sadhanas which lead to moksha. Okay. Now, उन sadhanas में सबसे पहले हमें understand करना है what is dharma, right? And we said that there were two kinds of dharmas. One is called, what do you call, the universal values which you have to follow. Okay, which we call samanya dharma. And the other is called Vishesha dharma, which are specific to your varna, specific to your ashrama, specific to the roles that you are playing. Okay. Now, first we'll talk about the universal values. So these, we had given a long list of good values and good behavior. This is there on our chat also. You can go through and refer to it. So ये सारे values पे पहले work करना है. First, try and imbibe all the good values in us. और एक नाम याद रखना अगर difficult लग रहा है, तो simple definition, right? Atmani pratikulani paresham na samacharet. Keep on reminding this to yourself. You don't have to remember one word. Nonetheless, if you just keep reading this list of values also every day, no, it will be good, because you will remember that, okay, this is what I have to imbibe. This is what I have to imbibe. So whenever you do anything pratikula, then there is a alert bell that rings inside. Ki, Arey, this is not a part of the good values. I have to avoid this. So these are the good values, good behavior, which is prescribed by the Shastras, and the bad qualities, the bad behavior, which is pratishiddha, which has been asked to be avoided by the Shastras. Okay, you've seen this in extreme detail, the values part, right? और हमने क्या बोला था कि so these values, they can be divided into these 10 commandment kind of a thing, which have to be universally followed, whether you are living here or you are living in Antarctica or wherever. Okay, whether you are a king or you are a beggar or whatever state you are in, you have to follow these 10, the 5 yamas and the 5 niyamas. They are the samanya dharma, the universal laws, which the universal rules which have to be followed. So 5 yamas. Yamas means those 5 things which has to be avoided, no matter what. सबसे पहले अहिंसा. Okay, and this one word, no, just in bold, circle it and engrave it in your head. क्योंकि एक अहिंसा आ जाएगा ना, तो बाकी सब चीजें automatically आ जाती है. Okay, so ahimsa at all the 3 levels. Okay, ahimsa at kayika level, physical level, ahimsa at vachika level, so verbal, and manasa level, at the thought level also. So avoidance of violence at all the 3 levels. Then satya. And we said, when I was explaining satya, when I was explaining asteya, aparigraha, I had always said that while following any other yamas or niyamas, always make sure पहले अहिंसा टिक होना चाहिए. अगर सत्य बोलने में भी हिंसा होती है तो वो avoid कर. Right? We had given so many examples for that. Okay. So ahimsa, then satya. Satya means avoidance of untruth. Asteya, avoidance of stealing. So stealing does not mean हम किसी के घर पे जाके चोरी नहीं करने वाले हैं, हमें पता है. But stealing at all levels. Okay. Not even the thought should be stolen. No intellectual property should be stolen without giving credit. Okay. Then brahmacharya, avoidance of giving into any kind of sense pleasures. Okay. Do you remember that story of Rishi Durvasa and Shri Krishna that I had given? Which that story, if you will remember, no? So Rishi Durvasa, he says, I am a Nitya Upvasi when he goes on eating. And Shri Krishna says, I am a Nitya Brahmachari when he has 16,000 and odd wives. So you understand the true meaning of Brahmacharya, avoidance of giving into self-pleasures, sense pleasures. Then aparigraha, avoidance of hoarding, avoidance of किसी भी चीज का परिग्रह क्यों करना. जो so it is said, no, that you can fulfill everybody's needs, but you cannot fulfill even one person's greed, right? So greed, come karo, downsize your world, you will get so much more time, energy, resources for the actual things. नहीं तो परिग्रह में मेंटेनेंस में ही पूरा टाइम, पूरा एनर्जी चला जाता है ना? So अपरिग्रह, avoidance of gathering things, hoarding things, जितना जरूरत है उतना. So try and move towards minimalism. Right. So these are the pancha yamas. Then pancha niyamas. शौचा, रोज नहाना चाहिए, नेल्स क्लिप करने चाहिए, ईयर्स क्लीन करना चाहिए. No, but shaucha at all levels. Okay, purity of body, speech, and thought. Shaucha, so घर का कचरा बाहर नहीं फेंकना है, सब shaucha at all levels. Okay. Santosha. Santosha means contentment. Okay. Shaucha, santosha, all these things, if you will revise, you will come to know that we had spoken about it in a lot of details in other aspects. Okay. Shaucha leads to vairagya. Remember, we had spoken about, if you have this, that, you know, oh my God, this is so filthy. This is so filthy. Slowly, slowly, you start having detachment towards your own body. You start having detachment towards other people's bodies. That helps brahmacharya. That helps so much of disidentification with your own body, mind, self, sense complex. Swamiji says that this body actually is a walking, talking toilet, right? Like if you go to see our intestines, our stomach, it contains all of it, which we are going to eliminate tomorrow morning. So it's a walking, talking toilet. So when you contemplate more on shaucha, you move towards vairagya. So shaucha at the physical level, at the verbal level, at the thought level, very important. But this is this other aspect to shaucha. There is this other aspect to tapa, which leads you to vairagya. Right. So shaucha, santosha, contentment. And again, a lot of people argue that contentment matlab, you know, it leads us to complacency. It leads us to passivity. कि हाँ ठीक है अभी जो है. But no, contentment in the real sense. कि ठीक है, I am content with what I have. Yes, I have the resources. I will use it for, I will do karma yoga. I will use it for the benefit of the society. I have the potential. I will use my potential for the benefit of society. Enough for myself. Then tapa, the austerities done at the physical level, at the verbal level. Remember, verbal level pe satyam hitam priyam anudvega karam vakyam. All right. So tapa at the verbal level and manasa level. Swadhyaya, self-study. We already spoke about Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam. So that can become a part of your Swadhyaya. And finally, Ishvara Pranidhana means surrender. Surrender means not passive surrender again, but surrender means accepting whatever you get as prasad bhavana, with prasad bhavana. So this becomes the samanya dharma, the universal rules to be followed. And then we said that there is something called Vishesha Dharma, based on our Varna Ashram, based on our rules. But since nobody knows, okay, what Varna I belong to, what ashram I belong to right now, nobody knows the rituals that are there in the Purva Bhaga of the Vedas assigned to those ashramas, those Varnas. So we consider the Pancha Mahayagnas as our Niyata Karmas, as our Vishesha Dharmas. please people, I really can't tell you enough about the importance of the Panchamahayagnas. I have repeatedly spoken about them. The Deva Yagna, the contribution to the elemental infrastructure, the Panchamahabhutas, all the Devas, okay? All the Devas, whoever you can think of, whatever you can think of, they are the Devas. So our contribution or our gratitude towards the elemental infrastructure. Pitru Yagna, contribution to the family infrastructure. Brahma Yagna, contribution to the Vedic cultural infrastructure. Manushya Yagna, contribution to the societal infrastructure. Then Bhuta Yagna, contribution to the environmental infrastructure. Right. I'm not going in detail, but I'm really going to emphasize that this is the most important, okay? You should have started it yesterday. If not, then please start it today. Right. Now, after imbibing the values, after, working on the values, after bringing about purity in ourselves through the values, now it is time to understand the sadhanas. Now you are ready to enter the sadhanas. Okay. So the sadhanas are firstly karma yoga, then upasana yoga and jnana yoga. तो ये इतने बार किया है तो एकदम क्विक रिविजन कर लेंगे. These three, so a lot of discussions are there, a lot of schools of Hinduism are there who believe that karma and jnana can be done together and moksha can be attained. Or karma is, through karma yoga also you can attain moksha, through upasana yoga also you can attain moksha, or through jnana yoga or through bhakti yoga you can attain moksha. No. The thing is, karma yoga, which includes upasana yoga also, karma yoga is the preparatory practice. It is necessary, it is inevitable, compulsory, but it is a preparatory practice. It gives us jnana yogyata. Once the jnana yogyata is attained, it is necessary to go to jnana yoga. It is necessary to gain knowledge through Sravana Manana Nididhyasana. That alone will take us to moksha. Right? So, karma yoga, it frees us, it neutralizes our raga, dvesha, ahankara, mamakara. And neutralization of this dushta chatusthayam is what we call chitta shuddhi. Chitta shuddhi. Okay? And the formula for karma yoga is Ishvara arpana and prasad bhavna. Do any karma. Okay? As far as possible, nishkama karma. Your niyata karmas. Do your karmas as an offering to the and accept whatever result you get with prasad bhavna. Okay? No complaining, no cribbing, just accepting it with prasad bhavna. And similar attitude should be there with our life also. कि हम जो भी सारे experiences कर रहे हैं, that is nothing but a fruit of our action only. So accept that also with prasad bhavna. Any action done with Ishvara arpana bhavna and any result received with prasad bhavna. That is karma yoga. Okay? Then upasana yoga. So upasana yoga was refining the three levels of our personality. The kayika amsha, the physical personality, then vachika amsha, our speech, and manasa amsha. So kayika amsha through exercising, through tapas. Tapas is most important. Okay? Moderation in quality as well as quantity in whatever we consume. Not only food, whatever we consume through all our five senses, whatever we watch, whatever we hear, whatever we eat, everything should be moderated in terms of quality as well as quantity. Then Vachika Amsha. So 17th chapter ka verse most important, Anudvegakaram Vakyam Satyam Priyam Hitam. So whatever we speak should go through these 4 conditions. It should be non-hurting, it should be truth, it should be gentle or polite, Priyam, and it should be for the benefit of the listener or for the interest of the listener. And then Manasa Amsha, refining our Manasa Amsha, our psychological personality through different kind of meditations that we had seen, right? Relaxation meditation, then Ekarupa Ishvara meditation, then Vishwarupa Ishvara meditation, value meditation. So these are the, so see, don't confuse this, these meditations with Nididhyasanam meditations. Huh? These meditations are preparatory meditations. They prepare the mind for Jnanam. And Nididhyasanam meditation is the meditation that we do after receiving Jnanam in order to strengthen that Jnana.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sure.
Vachika Amsh. This, when you did it during the whole session, then also it. Yes, I totally understand. Even when telling someone that something that they've done is not right, that you are hurting, is wrong, is the right way to address it. Self-preservation is very important. So you can't be, if you are, if it's something wrong is happening to you, then you shouldn't be accepting that too. That's also not right, because then you're being bad to yourself. So given both of them together, the step 1 is realizing that something's wrong is happening to you and you're suffering because of that. And step 2 is communicating with the other person, telling him or her that this is the situation.
Right.
So those two make sense. And then when you just talked about accept everything as a prasad.
Correct.
That is in conflict, actually.
Right. Okay. So see, first of all, don't be delusional. Ki mere saath ye ho raha hai. I am a victim.
Right.
Analyze it with like absolute discrimination.
Right.
Buddhi. Ki don't put yourself as a person in the victim mode.
Right.
Understand is whether actually something wrong is happening.
Right.
That's the first thing. Okay.
Right.
Now, after that, make attempts. Okay. Make attempts to bring about changes in yourself. Make attempts to communicate with that person. Excellent. Now, if the person is, most of the times, the person might not be able to accept what you are saying.
Maybe I'm not able to communicate actually properly. Because
Okay.
So bolna is not enough, right? The other person should be able to gauge, understand what you're saying. Communication is always two-way.
Right. So work on that. Okay. That can be your second thing. Working on your communication skills. What is the best time? What is the best way to express? And still it might not happen. Pray. Keep that positive, the bhavna always there. Okay. That in your prayers, let that person be receptive. You have to be patient. Otherwise, it is not going to work.
Yeah. So I think that is where the disconnect is. That because so suffering and then patience to communicate. So sometimes the problem is that suffering happens, then realization that actually that suffering is there. With all the discrimination, you are applying the rules and you're writing down so that you are like not, playing the victim card. You're actually very pragmatically analyzing that you are at the receiving end.
Right.
But the communication, the patience required to do the right communication is very important.
Yes. Again, in spite of that, okay, you have done everything right. Okay, everything is done perfectly.
Okay.
Still, it might not work. So that is where what I am saying, accept it as prasad bhavana. Maybe it is a prabal prarabdha. Okay? Maybe it is a choiceless situation which you have to, go through. Now, if in that case there is physical abuse, there is those kind of things, then put your foot down, step out. But if there is, misunderstanding, if you are understanding what kind of, so there is a point where thus far, no further. Till that point, do your best and accept whatever comes as prasad.
Okay.
So that is what I mean by accepting with prasad.
So, but yeah, that's also very, very, your mind has to be really stable, calm, analyzing the situation too.
And that is why all these sadhanas are important, no? Karma yoga, upasana yoga, they give you that emotional strength.
Right.
They give you that strength to endure. They give you, so that is why I know this sadhana chatushtayam, they give you the sadhana chatushtayam. So regular karma yoga and upasana yoga.
Right. So this conclusion class is very nice.
Yes, long way to go yet.
Yeah, please let's go ahead. Thanks.
All right, so upasana yoga at the vak level, vak tapas, anudvega karam vakyam, satyam, priyam and hitam. And the types of meditation. So relaxation meditation we had spoken about, concentration where you can do it on your Ishta Devta, Ek Rupa Ishvara. Expansion meditation, it's like the Vishwarupa Ishvara. Looking at all the galaxies, all the creatures in this universe, all the people whom you really, really hate, whom you really dislike. I mean, hate is a very strong word. So all of them, include them in the expansion meditation and see them as a part of the Vishwarupa Ishvara. And then finally, the refinement meditation or transformation meditation, which you concentrate, you meditate on the values. Right. And then we had seen, okay, is there a question, Hitarji?
Yeah, I have a question regarding the all the good qualities and bad qualities you have mentioned about. So, like in good qualities, for example, responsibility or so all these good qualities you have mentioned. So, it has to be aligned with the Ishwar Bhavana, am I right? Because there are good people out in also they are doing a lot of social services or something,
Right.
but behind they do not have Ishwar or Arpan Bhavana.
Yeah. So yes, then it is called it is called Rajasik Danam. And they do all these kind of activities with a Sakama Bhavana, with an intention of gaining something in return. It could be popularity, it could be anything, what people will think about me, those kind of things. Any kind of Sakam Bhavana. Yes, that you have to move from Sakam to Nishkam. You have to understand that you are just a Nimitta. You are not the Karta.
Okay.
The good things are happening through you. That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. And yes, this very important image, save it in your mind, about Ratha Kalpana. Ratha Kalpana mein kya dekha tha? There were 5 horses. So these 5 horses, they actually are the 5 senses, our 5 sense organs which are externally focused. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So these 5 horses, if they are let loose, they will take you in their own direction. Okay, 5 alag disha mein leke jayenge aur rath topple ho jayega. So what is the remedy? The remedy is the Viveka Buddhi. The Viveka Buddhi acts as the charioteer, the discriminative Buddhi, Dharma Adharma Viveka. ये करना चाहिए कि ये नहीं करना चाहिए, कार्य अकार्य विवेक. So that Viveka Buddhi, it will hold the reins of the horses. So the reins, it depicts the mind. So the mind is let loose. If the buddhi is not in charge, the mind, the reins are loose, and the horses will take the ratha in whichever direction that it wants to. So the intellect, the buddhi, will have to hold the reins of the mind really tight, and that way the sense organs, they don't get distracted. The horses, they take you towards your goal, right? So the charge is in the hand of your buddhi. So always understand, always have this awareness ki whether my mind is doing this or my buddhi is doing this. Don't let the mind be in charge. Let the buddhi be in charge. Okay? Don't let the tail wag the buffalo. Let the buffalo wag the tail. ठीक है. तो ये रथ कल्पना इसके लिए दिखाया था कि उपासना योग से our this the horses of our sense organs, they are basically, the reins are pulled tight. Because of Upasana yoga, you get that discipline. Okay, discipline at all the levels: the physical, verbal, and physical, sensory. Okay, all the senses, and the mental level. So the buddhi gets in charge. The buddhi holds the reins. And because of that, what happens? Because once you start doing karma yoga, you get chitta shuddhi. Okay, that is purity of your mind. We saw that it means what? Your ragas, your dvesha, those become diluted. And because of Upasana yoga, you get this discipline. So because of these two, what drishta benefits you start seeing? So that is this FIR reduction. That is the drishta benefits that you start seeing. So FIR reduction means frequency. F means frequency, I means intensity, and R means recovery period. Now, frequency of what? Frequency of the emotional disturbances and our reaction to the emotional disturbances. Uska frequency, it will visibly start reducing. I am sure if you guys have started to practice, it would have already started visibly reducing. The frequency of your emotional disturbances, the frequency of your reaction towards emotional disturbances, then the intensity of your emotional disturbances. ऐसा नहीं है कि खत्म हो जाएंगे, पर उनका intensity कम होता जाएगा, और your reaction will also not be that intense. Your reaction towards your emotional disturbances. And finally, the recovery period taken to come back from the unfavorable situations, okay, to come back from the effects. वो recovery period भी कम होता जाएगा. So because of Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga, these are the visible benefits that you will start seeing. Reduction in frequency, intensity, and recovery period from emotional disturbances. Right. Now, after all this background study, finally we came to Tattva Bodha. Okay, this is Sadhana Chatushtayam, the first topic given in Tattva Bodha. So Sadhana Chatushtayam means the qualifications required for entering Jnana Yoga. So kya the? Fourfold qualifications. First is Viveka. Viveka means discrimination. Discrimination between what? Discrimination between what is temporary and what is permanent. Every moment, a qualified person will have this awareness कि अरे ये तो temporary है, अरे ये तो temporary है. What is the permanent thing? So that awareness that Brahma is the only Satyam, only permanent thing. Rest all is Mithya. That Viveka, that discrimination is the first qualification. The second qualification is Vairagyam. Dispassion, non-attachment to the fruits of actions which you're going to get here and which you're going to get later in the form of Swargalok, Brahmalok. किसी भी चीज का attachment ही नहीं. Okay? So any fruit that you get, I take it with prasad bhavana. Then the third one is Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. Now Samadhi Shatka Sampatti has these six-fold qualifications. Okay? Shama means Manonigraha, means mastery over your mind, holding the reins tight. Dama means mastery over the sense organs. Then Uparama, Swadharma Anushthanameва. I'm not going in detail. This is a very important topic done in detail. So Swadharma Anushthanameва means I have to do my Niyata karmas, my Samanya and Vishesha dharmas diligently, and all the duties that I have to play according to my role. Those have to be fulfilled diligently. That is when my mind will be able to stay on the topic of, on the object of meditation for a long time. Only then I will be able to discipline my mind. It will be able to stay focused for a length of time. Remember, we had given that example of a mom who goes with a baby to have a conversation with a friend. Now, if the baby again and again and again keeps going away, the mother will never be able to have a conversation with the friend. So the mind is like a baby. We have to keep getting it back. But then after a point, we have to make sure that the baby stays put in the mother's lap for a long time. Only then the mother will be able to have a conversation with the friend. Same way, the mind needs to be focused for a length of time. Only then the mind will be able to stay focused on the meditation. So Shama, Dama, Uparama, Titiksha, we have seen in great detail. Sahanam, Sarva Dukkhanam, Apratikara Purvakam, Chinta Vilaparahitam. So in simple words, Titiksha means cheerful endurance. Then Shraddha. Shraddha in what? Shraddha in Guru Vedanta Vakya. So in whatever my Guru says and in whatever the Shastra says, I have to, the Shraddha, it's a basic requirement. And Samadhanam means effortless, spontaneous focus on the object of meditation, on the object of focus, or Chitta Ekagrata. These six together, they are called Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. So Vivek, Vairagya, Samadhi Shatka Sampatti, and the fourth one is Mumukshutva, the desire for moksha, the desire for like what do you call, a craving for moksha, an irreplaceable desire for moksha, as if your head is on fire and you need water. Utna desperately tumhe moksha chahiye. So it's not just a, oh, I want moksha, oh, I want moksha. The desire is so strong that it is your only priority. So all other activities that you do, they are also done in order to take you to this goal of moksha. That is called Tivra Mumukshutvam. So Vivek, Vairagya, Samadhi Shatka Sampatti, and Mumukshutvam. Once you gain that qualification, okay, once you gain these four, तो ये four मतलब actually क्या है? उसमें से by doing karma yoga, you get viveka, you get vairagya, and you get mumukshutvam. So vivek, vairagya, mumukshutvam together are nothing but chitta shuddhi. By doing that, by doing karma yoga, you already get qualified for all these three qualifications, viveka, vairagya, and mumukshutvam. And by practicing Upasana yoga, you get the qualification of Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. because Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti is nothing but disciplining your mind. And Upasana Yoga leads you to that discipline. And once through Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga, you have all these 4 qualifications, or in other words, you have Chitta Shuddhi and Chitta Ekagrata, then you are ready to enter Jnana Yoga. Then you are yet ready for these 3-fold exercises, that is Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam. Right. So I don't want to go into this detail also. We know what is Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. We know what is Jnana Yoga. Then we said that there is one more yoga which we say that there is Bhakti Yoga. Now, is this a 4th thing that we have to practice along with Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, Jnana Yoga? No. Bhakti Yoga is an atmosphere of immense love, okay, of identification with Ishvara as my own self, okay. And I'm so much in love with Ishvara that in that love, in that reverence towards Ishvara, with that reverence as the background, I am doing Karma Yoga. With that reverence for Ishvara in the background, I am doing Upasana Yoga. With that reverence or love for Ishvara in the background, I am doing Jnana Yoga. So, our Karma Yoga, our Upasana Yoga, our Jnana Yoga, they have to be soaked in this immense reverence for Ishvara. Only then that benefit will come. Only then that true benefits of Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga and Jnana Yoga will come. Because if what we have said, what is Karma Yoga? Ishvara Arpana and Prasad Bhavana. तो जब तक ईश्वर के लिए वो रेवरेंस ही नहीं रहेगा तो ईश्वर अर्पण भावना ही नहीं आएगी, प्रसाद भावना ही नहीं आएगी. So Bhakti Yoga, similarly for Upasana Yoga, similarly for Jnana Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga has to be a common atmosphere which is necessary while practicing all the 3 of these sadhanas. Okay? So that's what we had seen in Bhakti. Yes, we had seen 4 kinds of Bhakti. So first is Artha Bhakti, means looking at Ishvara as remover of all your problems. Okay, Artha Bhakti. Then Artharthi Bhakti, looking upon Ishvara as Sukha Sadhanam, for gaining something. ये मेरा list है भगवान, इसको please ये list की सब चीजें मुझे टिक करके दे दो. So that is Artharthi Bhakti, कि तुम्हें कुछ चाहिए, Sakama Bhakti. So both Artha Bhakti, Artharthi Bhakti are Sakama Bhakti. You want something from Ishvara. Then comes Jignasu Bhakti. Okay, Jignasu Bhakti mein the goal is to gain moksha. Okay, to gain Ishvara, to gain moksha. That is the goal, to attain. Yes, here also you want to attain something, but you want to attain oneness with Ishvara. You want to attain the Brahman. So even though there is a desire to attain something, this bhakti is still called Nishkama Bhakti. Okay, that is Jignasu Bhakti. When you are a Tivra Mumukshu, कि मुझे मोक्ष चाहिए ही, तो you are a Jignasu Bhakta. And finally, it's Jnani Bhakti. Okay, Jnani Bhakti, it comes out of knowledge. Knowledge of identification with Ishvara. Aham Brahmasmi iti Jnanam. That is Jnani Bhakti. The love, the reverence that comes out of this knowledge. That is Jnani Bhakti. So, Artha, Artharthi, Jignasu and Jnani. These 4 kinds of bhaktis. Right. Okay. So Bhakti Yoga also we have seen in detail. So this is the whole roadmap. सबसे पहले क्या करना है? We have to imbibe the values. Yama, Niyama, Panchamahayagnas, we have to follow all these things. Then do it as karma yoga. पहले तो करो सकाम भावना से करो कि नहीं नहीं मैं यम नियम फॉलो करूंगी, मैं पंचमहायज्ञ कामधेनु, गॉड कॉल्स इट द कामधेनु, let me do Panchamahayagna so that I get a house, so that I get admission in this college, so that I get whatever. So do it as a sakam bhavna, no problem. लेकिन करो, थोड़े टाइम सकाम भावना के साथ करने के बाद take it to the level of karma yoga. Then start doing it as your duty. निष्काम भावना से करते रहो with ईश्वर अर्पणा and प्रसाद भावना. तो पहले ये वैल्यूज इम्बाइब करने हैं, then start doing them as karma yoga and do upasana yoga also. So all these preparatory sadhanas, do them with immense bhakti. ये करने से we will get ज्ञान योग्यता प्राप्त के बाद we can start assimilating the knowledge which we have gotten through Shravanam. इतना सारा श्रवणम एक साल तक हम कर रहे हैं, that Shravanam will start bringing about transformation once this Jnana Yogyata has been achieved through the preparatory practices. So slowly the Jnanam will start getting assimilated and the self-knowledge will become firmly established. And that is what leads to moksha. That is what leads to moksha. So this is the whole roadmap. है ना? Yes. So after understanding this, okay, so we have something like 10 minutes and I'm extremely sorry, I'm not going to finish in the next 10 minutes. So let us see what we can, we'll definitely not continue beyond because we have the Bilva festival also going on. So there is a talk following this session. So maybe we'll take one more class after this. Okay? So I'll continue for another 10 minutes. Right. So after understanding this roadmap, ki kya karna hai, after understanding the sadhanas and everything, after understanding the qualifications, means the sadhana chatushtayam, then Tattva Bodha talks about Jiva Vichara. Okay, analysis of the individual. Now, analysis of the individual, it is done based on 3 factors. Pehle to Sharira Trayam, then Panchakosha, and then on the basis of Avastha Trayam. So in these 3 ways, we had analyzed the individual Jiva. Okay. तो शरीर त्रयम सबको याद होगा, स्थूल शरीरम, सूक्ष्म शरीरम, कारण शरीरम. Okay, the gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body. So the individual, when we analyze the individual based on the material out of which the individual is made of, then there are these 3 bodies that we can divide the individual into. Okay. So, Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram and Karana Shariram. And we analyzed all the 3 bodies based on firstly the raw materials out of which each body is made, then the components. Remember, components of the Sthula Shariram mean the hand, the limbs, the trunk, the head. Then the 19 components of the Sukshma Shariram which we had seen, right? So the components. And then the function of each body, the function of the Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram and Karana Shariram, and the nature of each body. This is how we had analyzed the Sharira Trayam. Quickly, you can look at this slide. So the raw material for Sthula Shariram are the 5 gross elements. For the Sukshma Shariram are the 5 subtle elements. The components of the Sthula Shariram are head, trunk, hands and legs. The components of the Sukshma Shariram, the subtle body, are the Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas, Pancha Pranas and the 4 parts of the Antakaranam. the function. The function of the Sthula Shariram is to provide a temporary residence for the individual Jiva. And the function of the Sukshma Shariram is to perform all the transactions. It provides the instruments to perform all the transactions. What is the nature of the Sthula Shariram? Shad Vikaras, okay? It continuously changes. Then the Sthula Shariram is evident to myself as well as others. Then the Sthula Shariram, it survives for the shortest duration amongst the three bodies, depending on what body you have, what Sthula Shariram you have. And the nature of Sukshma Shariram. The Sukshma Shariram is also subject to continuous change. The Sukshma Shariram is evident only to oneself. Others can't see it like the Sthula Shariram. It is evident only to oneself. And the subtle body survives for a much longer duration. The entire Srishti, okay, this entire Srishti, till the Mahapralaya comes, till the entire universe resolves, till then the Sukshma Shariram continues. So that is the Sthula Shariram and Sukshma Shariram. And then the causal body. So the definition given by Tattvabodha was that which is inexplicable. Why it is inexplicable? Because it is neither evident to myself or to others. There is no way in which I can find out what is there in my Karana Sharira. It is inexplicable. It is anadi. It is beginningless. Then it is in the form of avidya. It is temporary. It is mithya. Because the moment I get knowledge, the moment the knowledge gets assimilated, this Karana Shariram disappears. We saw the Sanchita bag. We no more have connection with the Sanchita bag. So it is in the form of mithya. It is not permanent. It is not eternal. It is the sole cause of the two bodies. It is the Karanam for the Sukshma Shariram and the Sthula Shariram. That is why it is called the Karana Shariram. And it is the ignorance of one's own true nature. And it is Nirvikalpaka. Means like the seed. Seed there is only one homogeneity, right? There are no separate branches or leaves or fruits. There is just one unity, right? Same way, the Karana Shariram is like a seed. It is free from components. It is free from duality. It is Nirvikalpaka. So these are the three Sharirams which we had seen. Karana Shariram, Sukshma Shariram and Sthula Shariram. So we analyze the Jiva based on these three Sharirams. So now, by now, we should start looking at ourselves as, oh, this is my Sthula Shariram. Oh, this is my Sukshma Shariram. This is the Karana Shariram, which we experience in our deep sleep only. Okay. Right. Then,
Charvi,
yes, it's
just
fine.
before you go to the next topic,
Yeah.
You just read the message I sent.
Sorry, I didn't.
That's okay.
Oh, okay. Right. So we'll conclude. We'll conclude and we will need one more class. So I'm sorry. I thought we'll finish it in 2 hours, 2.5 hours, but yes. We'll need one more class. So coming Saturday, 6th August, we'll definitely conclude the course. All right. Thank you, Molly. I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
No
Yes,
problem.
conclude and please be there for the Bilwa talk. Yes. We'll conclude with the prayer. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shant Shant Shanti Hari Om. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you, everyone. Namaste.
Thank you, Charvi, and I'm very, very sorry to interrupt.
No,
It's,
I am.
it was a fantastic overview, and it was amazingly like a brilliant overview. And actually looking forward to the next class.
Yes, we'll conclude.
Next class also a little bit update on for others, just what is Tattva Bodha and why are we doing that, something on that lines, which I thought we'll do today, but next class we'll do that.
All right. Yes.
Sure.
Thank you. Namaste. And
Thanks.
all the best for your session, Molly.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.